What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. So as you guys can see, I still need to get the glue off of that fender there. I still got to unwrap the roof, but that's not what we're doing today. Today I got to fix a bigger problem on the car. It's not really a major problem, but it keeps me from being able to drive the car at night without having to worry about being pulled over. And that would be, I got to install these LED strips for a tag light. For some reason the tag light on the car is not working. I installed a new light because the other bulb was burnt out, so I put a new one in there and it doesn't work at all. I traced the wire all the way back to the fuse box, and there's no power coming from the fuse box anywhere through the car. Like I said, I traced the wire all the way through. There's no breaks in it, but for some reason the power doesn't come from the fuse box back to the car. And considering I can't figure out what the problem is with it, I'm going to go ahead and install these lights on there, and I'm going to run them to a switch that's already in my center console, conveniently enough. So I got this little switch right here. There's nothing hooked up to it right now, so that's what we're going to do. I'm going to run wires all the way up to it. And as you can see right here, I pretty much got everything sitting right here that I need. So I got my positive and negative wiring, got my connectors, got my heat shrink tubing. I got this guy right here so I can plug it into the fuse box. Got my necessary pliers and some electrical tape if necessary. So now I'm just gonna go to the back of the car and get these lights installed on the bumper, and we'll start running the wires up to the front. So the first thing I'm gonna do is just get this out of the way, and as you can see, I had to kind of getify it up in there, otherwise it was just going to fall straight out because it's broke. Now I'm going to go ahead and remove this bulb because we're not going to be using it. See if my shrink wrap, my big piece of shrink wrap here, will fit over that, and as I suspected, it will not. So I'm going to go ahead and take my electrical tape and tape this socket up, try to protect it from the weather as much as possible since we're not going to be using it right now. Alright, so now that that's all taped up and protected from the weather, we're just going to tuck it back in there. Alright, so we'll get this one stuck in here. Now that they're stuck on there, I just got to run the wires up through here and through the trunk and get it all going up to the front of the car. Just got to undo this. And just like that, these wires are through that grommet. Now I just need to splice in my red and black wiring and run it through this wire loom here all the way up to the front of the car. But in order to do that, I first need to remove this back seat. It's super easy. You got a couple clips, one on either side here. You just push it back in and it pops up like that. Reach over here to this one, then you just pull it right up out of there. Just like that, super easy. All right, now we can open up this back seat rest right here, and now we can run our wire right through this wire loom right here. So then it goes down inside here and it runs down in there, and then we'll have to cut across to the other side of the car. Well, we'll probably run it all the way up to the front and cut over underneath the dash and back. That way it's all nice and clean and it looks OEM. Nobody will even know the difference. Got my connections made. I'm gonna tuck them in, continue on up. So now I just gotta pull these panels off. They just pop right off real easy. Get this front one off. Pop that off right there. Pop the side off here. Oh, it's kind of a pain in the butt. This one here I gotta be real careful with because I've got my watt box installed on it. It doesn't really like to come out of there like it's supposed to. Okay, see, my watt box is screwed onto that panel on the side of it there. That's where the previous owner had it, and I really haven't found a better place to put it yet, so that's just where I'm keeping it at for now. So I'm just going to lay this one to the side so it doesn't pull on that, and I don't want to unplug it. As far as this panel here goes, I'm just going to pull it off of the side right here and get it around this lip. It comes around it, you just have to force it a little bit. Just get it loose, and then I can kind of see back behind there. See, that's the wire loom I'm going to be following right there. So with this popped loose like this, we'll be able to run through there nice and easy. Just got to get this all wrapped up right here underneath the seat because there's no wire loom right here. And then I can move on to the side part. Right, pop these back into place, and then we're moving on to the next part. So now with this carpet back out of the way, I'm just going to very carefully cut this electrical tape off of this wire loom here. That way we can tuck the other wires into it, and then we'll just tape it right back up shut. Okay, I'm going to do that to all of these. Alright, now I just got to tuck the wire in. Okay, so I'm gonna retape this up and then I'll get back with you guys when we run it up under the dash. All right, let's get this put back together. All right guys, so it's getting dark, which is cool because we're gonna be able to test out the light, but check it out. You see I got my wire running down underneath the center console there to my switch. And it runs over here, I make my connections. So you see right there, I got some wire loom out of the garage. Went ahead and ran my wires in through all that and zip tied it up in place so it looks all OEM. And then over here at the fuse panel, you can see I put a fusible link in there in the accessory spot, put some fuses in it, and then I hardwired it. And then right down here on the fuse box itself, I put a little notch in the panel and in the door right here so that the wire can go through there and not get pinched. So now I'm gonna button this all up and we can fire up the car and see if the light works. Alright guys, so as you can see, I got my wire hooked into the fuse box in a fuse spot where there's a lot of power. It even has power with the car shut off. And I had it hooked into this other thing. I had it wired into this guy here, but it wasn't working, so I thought maybe that was the problem. So I cut it off and just shoved it straight in there like I've seen a lot of people do in the past. And the thing's not working at all. No matter how I flip the switch, it doesn't work at all. Sorry the car's so loud, but yeah, no matter how I flip the switch, it doesn't work at all. It doesn't work with the car off, on, lights off. It doesn't matter what I do, it does not work. But I know that there's power going to where that power wire is hooked in at. So I'm wondering if maybe that switch right there is bad. The only way for me to know is to take this back apart, and it's already getting kind of late and cold outside. All right, so I went inside and thought about it a little bit, and I figured it's LED lights. There's only one reason they could be wrong. Since I had power to the fuse spot that I was choosing to use, really could be nothing else wrong there because this is only a 2-prong switch, so it has to be power wire and a power wire, one going to the lights and one going to the fuse box, and then you got your ground wire. Well, there can only be one scenario if they don't work, and it's LEDs. They can only be wired up one way. So I swapped the wires around. I turned the ground wire into the power wire and the power wire into the ground wire, and now it works. So turn the key on, flip my switch on. Check that out. Now we got a tag light, we can roll legal. It's nice and LED, and look at there. We got my new hard plate in, guys. The crowd killer. Looks pretty sweet. Heck yeah. So that's gonna wrap it up for this video, guys. Thank you all for stopping in. If you enjoyed today's content, smash that like button. Leave your thoughts and comments down below. Don't forget to subscribe on your way out. And just like that, we'll catch you guys in the next one.